So I'm alive. I just got on half an hour earlier just because, like post-game commentary. Hey, man, I've been working on these CSRs for a long time. You figure what? They're 2 hours and 20 minutes long. And figure a minute per hour of editing and all that, approximately. So, yeah. I mean, anybody could come on. And I know everybody's just waiting for 8 o'clock. Hey, Nathaniel, how are you, man? Hey, John. It's like pre-game warm-up. What do you call it? The pre-show game. Maybe we're going to have halftime or something. I just came on half an hour earlier. I was telling Nathaniel. Just, shoot the poop. Ça va bien, Nathaniel. Toi, ça va? Hey, Mickey. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my Mickey. Hey, Robert. Man. David. I mean, the show's going to start at 8 o'clock. It's been the CSRs. It's been scheduled for that time. You know what I mean? I got my house. I'm sitting down. I got the fire cracking. There. Fine. Hey, Kabuki, man. No, don't worry, Kabuki. It's pre-recorded, so I'm not going to be on. My face is not going to be on while we're watching. But I mean, I'll keep. If that's interesting, I'll keep chat going so I can answer questions because, sometimes during speeches, whatever. You know what I'm saying. You guys are all relaxed? Ask me a question, man. Someone ask a question here. Come on. I'm having a beer. I'm actually having Sleeman's light beer because it's low carb. I'm too fat. So if I'm going to have beer, I'm going to have beer that tastes like nothing. But have a whiskey on the side. Drinking a cider. Hey, Nathaniel, where are you from, man? I mean, where do you live right now? And why do you speak French and all these other languages? Boy, hey, man. Jay, what's up? Man, these are all my notes, man. I can't see crap. I can't see nothing. All my notes for the CSR. Pages and pages of notes. Notes. Stuff. You know what I'm saying? 11:30 in UK, so it's a sneak. So I have a sneaky. Oh, I see. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I can only put it on. I gotta favor myself once in a while. I mean, So, Nathaniel, you live in the middle of North Carolina. You went to French-style school in Los Angeles at Lycée when you were young, and you did not doctorate. And you did a doctorate. Just as you wrote, you did not doctorate. You did a doctorate in French and German history. So verstehen Sie Deutsch, ja? Ja? Das kein Problem. Hey, Kevin, how are you, man? I got you up there on the CSRs. Yeah, typing sucks. It's funny, not having someone on and just reading the Ich verstehe was, etwas. Yeah. And are you fluent, Nathaniel, in Deutsch? I'm not. I'm just learning from being at the market on Saturdays. A lot of German people come by. Some, you know, ich learn ein kleiner, ein bisschen, whatever. Im Moment lernt mein Sohn Deutsch. Ich verstehen Sie nicht. Verstehen Sie nicht. You got to speak in French or in Italian or in English or in a little bit of Japanese. But, you know. So someone asked me something about the CSRs, how long it took me, did I suffer, how many bathroom breaks did I take, did I eat? Obviously I ate, look at me. And you know what I'm saying? Oh man, you're a government guy, Nathaniel. I mean, you're in the books all the time. I can't read. I have ADD, and it's to the point where my eyeballs, I can't even follow a sentence. My eyeballs go all over the place, and I got thoughts, you know. Hey, Kevin, Lee Smith. What fashion designer are you wearing this evening? It's my No Enemies Here thing. But I'm not going to be on. Like I said, I'm not going to have my face on this side of the screen. It's just going to be full screen here. I'm going to have chat open. And whatever, man. If you got any questions, if you don't have any questions, you don't have to say anything. But I mean, if you got questions like, you know, like, I don't know, how old were you when you did this kind of thing, whatever. Hey, Tony. Sup, Tony? Man. Hey. Play la musique traditionnelle, eh? Well, yeah, Quebec is beautiful. I love the culture. It's a very it's a hearty culture. You know what I'm saying? Quebec took a lot of grief from the English because the English were more powerful then and there. But whatever. I mean, we can go on and on. John, you asked, did the weenies have a time limit to reply? The weenies? You mean the peanut gallery? Okay, so hold on. Tony, you're on assignment from my Jesser because he's gone somewhere, right? I don't know where he's gone. But Poindexter, by the way, Poindexter's got a wicked channel, and it's Stuka Joe level professionalism. You know what I mean? I watch it. It's great. It reminds me of when I used to watch Stuka Joe the first time I saw him with the B-17 video he made. And you guys, if you haven't seen the B-17 video that Stuka Joe made, I suggest you check it out big time. But hold on a second. The question, Poindexter asks, Dan, were your CSR award bosses tyrants or benevolent dictators? They were benevolent dictators. They were bosses. I have to listen. I was very happy they chose me. I don't know if they chose me out of let's give this guy all the work to do in terms of editing and all that, or they chose me because, you know, I'm pretty and charismatic. But no, man, this was great. And Tim Tao, I keep calling him Tim Toe on the video, and it's Tim Tao. Tim Tao did a lot of work, man, and I bugged his ass to give me this, give me that. I didn't get this. How come that's not there? And every time I asked something, boom, he was right on it. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning, because we have a 3-hour difference between Montreal and California, he was always on it, man. Awesome. And obviously, it's the first time that I do this or that we do this. And hopefully they ask me back next year because there's certain guidelines. It's a learning experience. So I created certain guidelines. Tim created certain guidelines that we can have to make it a little bit more concise, a little bit more professional, even though it was professional, I did it. And, you know, just making it better all the time. Okay. What's up, Dan? Thanks for all your music. Hey, no problem. And let me tell you something. Here's what you call it? What do you call that? I'm gonna promote my show, and God, I can't speak anymore. Here's a shameless plug. If you guys want my music, become a supporter to No Enemies Here. Man, I ask for $5 a month. That's $1.25 per episode. It's like you're buying me a coffee. It's like, hey, Dan, what's up? Here's a coffee. Thanks. And there's not even milk in it because it would be $1.50. And if you guys are a supporter, whoever wants to be a supporter, whoever wants my music, they just have to ask. I'll send it up to you, man. No problem. No problem. My pleasure. Okay. Yeah, Poindexter, Stuka Jove, yeah. Inspiration for sure. He's a lot of people's inspiration. Trust me, he inspires me. I can't do what he does. I just can't. So he inspires me in a totally different way. What can I tell you? Mickey Juif or Juif. I'm a funny dude. Look at me. How can I not be funny? Look. Every time I look in the mirror, I laugh. So you know what I'm saying. How long is the show? Tony, the show is 2 hours and 30 minutes. So Jochen Kehoe, you always impress me with such high production value. And no, I didn't compose any new music, but thank you for the production value. I do the best I can. The people who support me on my show help me to buy stuff to improve it. It's a slow going thing, but hey, man, I'm there's a learning curve to everything, and I got a million learning curves to learn. So, okay. Oh, Mickey Juif, okay. So, Tony, is it a problem that it's 2 hours and 30 minutes? What, you got to go teach tomorrow? Huh? What time is it where you are, Tony? And the show's going to be on in 20 minutes. I mean, I can even give you a preview of the show because it's recorded. That would screw everybody up. But I ain't going to do it. Cheers, people. This background behind, that's not bad. 7:40. Okay, so you're on my time, Tony. Escape, Nathaniel. He asks, how many time signatures were in Escape from Hades? Well, the intro, I forget, but I'm going to say, about 6 or 7, which, to the lay people, the people like, oh my God, time signatures. I'm a percussionist. That's all I studied was time signatures. So, I could have made it a million time signatures, but you know what that is? If someone were to perform all that, that's another rite of spring. It's like a pain in the butt. A 2/8, 4/4, and a 2/2. It's like 2/2. Just write 4/4. Anyways, whatever. So you, Tony, you got to teach tomorrow. By the way, Tony, what do you teach? I think you teach history, right? And at what level? Is it high school, like rotten kid level, or is it CJEP where they're starting to be cool, the hormones are pumping up, or is it university level where nobody cares? I studied university. I cared like crazy. History high school, eh, Tony? Good luck, my friend. No wonder if you've lost all your hair. Those high school kids, man, I was a high school kid. God, was I horrible. Horrible. I apologize to any teachers watching now. They're not watching. They're dead. Grumbling Grognard. Grumbling. You're going to give me a hard time. You're going to give me a hard time. Huh? Man. God, does someone else have a question concerning the, I was going to say the Tonys, concerning the CSRs? Does anybody expect something in the CSRs other than the ceremonies? I don't know. look, I was asked to do it, and I did it my way. So some people are not gonna like it, and some people are gonna like it. It's what it is, man. You know. The telephone. Okay, fly casual. Any nomination that I'm especially interested. You know what? My interest was more in World War II and sci-fi, but since I edited this and checked out all the nominations and the categories, I'm really interested in all of them. It's amazing how much time was put in the games of each category, the nominees and not nominees. It's just like the best ancients, the pre-nap, best nap era, and the best nap. Fred Serval will be presenting the best nap era. He's he's a funny guy. Anyways, post World War II, best sci-fi, best computer, Jan Heinemann, best solo, best mag, best amateur mag, best postcard game. Hey, yeah, best magazine game. You know what? This is just great. It just brings me back to when I was 15, 16 years old. And, you know, I mean, this is for us, man. It's our little family war game thing. Hey, Stigler, ¿qué pasa? Yeah, Robert, you're not going to get song and dance. Yeah, Lee Smith, it's been a long time coming. Yeah, you're damn right. Are you talking about my production? It's been a long time coming because I know where you live. But if you're talking about it's been a long time coming because they weren't there, then yeah, it's been a long time coming. Jeff A. Hey, have you stepped it up a bit? Or I'm sure you did the best you could, so don't concern yourself with other opinions. Thank you very much. But we all do a little bit, right? We all want to please. I'm gonna say. No, I'm not gonna do a Sinatra impression, man. ¿Qué pasa? Nada. ¿Qué pasa? Nada. Yeah. Okay, so yes, he has a real question. Do you expect any of these games to be called classics by myself in 10 years? I'm not an authority on that. I can only tell you what I like. But there's some designers, they have such an ease in creating a game, and the rules flow, and it's effortless. Like once, you play a couple of times, you don't even have to look at the rules. Like guys like John Butterfield, guys like Mark Herman, man, what's the Dream Team guy's name? Herman Lutman. David Thompson, the new kid on the block, David Thompson. He's making waves, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying that because I've read everything. And it's like the guy's all over the place. But anyways, Keith Tracton, Dan, the wargaming man. Keith, you know me. I'm not a wargaming man. I'm not, man. I'm not. I'm not a grognard. I never pretended to be. I'm never gonna be. You know who's a grognard? Karel Paradzi is a grognard. A guy like Keith Tracton's a grognard, whether he likes it or not, because some of the games is designed. You gotta be a grognard. Red carpet? No, man. You know what? That's a great idea for next year. Hopefully, I'm there next year. But yeah, we got to make things light a little bit because the CSRs have always been. To my mind, they've always been, a little bit upper crust. You know what I'm saying? But Tim Tao made it a people's choice, which is fantastic. Fantastic. So, Ardwolf, you're here to make fun of Dan. I'm going to block you, man. I'll block you. I'll give you some, what's it called? Imodium to block you. Uè, Fabrizio, come stai? Che? Ma io non abito negli Stati Uniti. Io sono canadese, Fabrizio. Ma come on. No, Billy Crystal. Stigler, yeah, Stigler. You're dating yourself, Stig. You're dating yourself. Hai capito adesso, eh? Tu dove stai? In Italia. Fabrizio. Fabrizio. E come pensavi che ero americano? Americano. I'm drinking Sleeman's Light Beer, clear 2.0 carbs. You know why, Stig? Because I'm fat. I'm fat. So I gotta lose the weight. But I like to have a beer once in a while. And so I drink beer that tastes like nothing. What do you mean, my Fabrizio? Ma che cazzo stai a dire? My Italian is quite good. Sono italiano! Mamma è venuto dalla guerra. Qui papà era toscano e mamma è di campagna. Così, my Italian's good. Ma this guy, that's Fabrizio Vianello. Fabrizio, is it Fabrizio Vianello? Hai fatto tu quello gioco, come cazzo si chiama? My God, 60 miles. Fabrizio, che gioco hai fatto? Lee, you drink root beer, eh? Okay. These are fruit flies. I'm trying to get. Man, 10 minutes to the show. You got. Yeah, my mom is from Campania, from a place called Galluccio. And my dad is from Marina di Massa in Tuscany. 1985 DNL. Can you elaborate, Fabrizio? Oh, less than 60 miles. Ma sicuro. Hey. So that's Fabrizio Vianello, the author, the designer of Less Than 60 Miles. You're going to see his game featured here at the CSRs. And nice game, Fabrizio. I wouldn't know. I don't have it. Huh? They sell out like this? And come cazzo, I could speak Napoletano too, eh? Because sta maioca ma basterà una giornata sola. Okay. Let's see here. Fly Casual. What do you think of what's TLHY? What do you think of TLHY? The Fly, can you elaborate on TLHY? The last 100 yards. You know what? I'm going to have to get that game. And it's expansion. I think it's airborne expansion. I could be mistaken. That's Mike Denson game. And you know what? I remember all these names because I'm into these names all the time. So, yeah, I'm going to have to get that game. And how many awards will Stalingrad 42 run away with? I've been bound to secrecy. They know where my children live. So I got to shut up. That's like once I asked Mark Herman, because Mark Herman was a subcontractor for the Pentagon, right? And I asked him, Mark, can I ask you any question? He goes, you can ask me anything. I'm not going to tell you anything. Oh, all right. So, yes, Stig, you know. Stigler is, he's got a channel. God Stigler, I forgot the name of your channel. But I call him the Phonetics Police. He's one of those guys. So Fabrizio, che ore sono in Italia adesso? Oh, you're in France right now. Where in France? Fabrizio. Hey! Stuka Joe, man! How are you, Stuka? Oh, Stigler for details. Joe, I'm just going to be on like this for another 8 minutes. After that, you know, I get out. I don't want to see my face anymore. Okay, Fabrizio, it's 1 a.m. So you're going to stay up till 3 o'clock to watch this? Hein? Ok, non lavori domani. Vous ne travaillez pas? Joe, salute. I'd have you on, but by the time I send the link there, this, that, boom, beam, barang, you're all sick. You're talking COVID sick, Fabrizio? Or you're all sick, like you're all in bed and, you know, sick. Oh, you're a night owl. I used to be a night owl when I used to practice a lot. And when you see me do that, I'm grabbing fruit flies out of the air. Anyways, who was I gushing about? Fly. Stuka, eh? Back, come on. His production value. The guy, you know. Yeah, Fabrizio, I used to be a night owl. I used to practice late at night, you know. But then one of my teachers, my history teacher, Bernard Lagacé, who used to be the organ player for the Basilica, Notre Dame Basilica, but in Montreal, he told me that the morning is where Bach shines. So I switched. I became a morning owl, weasel. And I kind of prefer it like that. I enjoy waking up in the morning, smelling the manure from the grass fields and the cows and all that, you know, and just waking up early, man. What can I tell you? What does douche mean? Oh, yeah. Thanks, Joe. And it's douche. I know some guy called me Deuce, whatever. And in the end, they called me Douche, but he was a douche. So what can I say? 5 more minutes, people, and I'm out of here. You got any interesting questions? You ask me now, or else you get up early too. 2 a.m. for work. What do you do, Lee Maron? 2 a.m. for work. No, that's too early. I'm talking about getting up at 5, 6. You know, Stigler, an IPA, it's a bit too dry for me sometimes. You know, it's gotta be. I can't drink an IPA in summer. I can drink an IPA in winter, but I can't drink an IPA in summer. Oh, you're a truck driver, and you know what, Artie? You're talking about a hitman? Okay. But Nathaniel, that's funny. Okay, I got a story. Talking about a hitman. Okay, got 4 minutes here. When I was living with my mom had a best friend. She's my second mom, my second family, whatever. And we lived like a couple of houses away. And they were family, cousins. So anyways, the husband of my mom's best friend, Carlo, used to go have espressos or coffees at a place called Nino's. And there's always this guy that would come in, and his name was, if I'm not mistaken, Gennaro. And Gennaro owned a jewelry store. And when he would come in, he would pay everybody a coffee. Yay! And it was Carlo's best friend. One day, Gennaro, not to be found. Okay? And anyways, Carlo's son bought his wedding ring from Gennaro. Anyways, Gennaro's not to be found, okay? And he shows up in the newspaper, our local newspaper, a couple of months later. And it's his face, but not his name. This is the truth. May Stuka Joe prosecute me, all right? So, Gennaro was not Gennaro. He was under another name. He turned out to be the number one hitman by Interpol. They were looking for him. So he was a hitman. He was involved in the Falcone case where they blew up the highway, and they got caught, and he was a sniper for hire, I guess. I blew our minds, man. We knew this guy. And I think he died in jail in Italy, man. And that's it. His jewelry store is still there. Whoever wants a ring from that guy. Okay. Joe. You know, Stuka Joe's first of all, I'm 5'4". My girlfriend says I'm 5'3". What does she know? And Stuka Joe's 6'4". I haven't met Stuka Joe yet, but I wanted to give him a hug because I love the guy. What am I going to hug? His belly button. God damn. Anyways, guys, 2 minutes. This is what it's going to look like. Like this. But you don't have to watch it here. You can watch it just whatever. Huh? I mean, I could do this too. Let's see. But I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. No, I'm not connecting to the Montreal mob. The Poutine Mafia. Ardwolf, I'm going to kick you in the nuts when I see you. That's it. You're making my language whatever. Nah, I'm not going to keep it like that. I don't want a Kölsch. A Kölsch beer. Yeah, Artie. Yeah. Salute, Artie. 1 minute, guys. You know what? I'm going to let you go. And at 8 o'clock, I'm kicking it off. Have a good show. I hope you like it. A lot of people put a lot of effort into this. Tim Tao. I got it. Tim Tao, you got to thank him, okay? Because without him, nada. Okay, verstehen Sie? Ciao, baby.
Hi, I'm Tim Tao, Director of the Charles S. Roberts Awards. Thank you so much for attending this year's presentation of the Charles S. Roberts Awards, recognizing excellence in the conflict simulation industry. These awards have been issued annually since 1975. It was the brainchild of John Mansfield. The awards are named after Charles S. Roberts, the original founder and operator of the Avalon Hill Game Company. The awards themselves are not chosen by any small committee, but are chosen by you, the voters. The top vote recipient in each category is named the winner. The next 4 highest vote recipients be named nominees. Now, to the host of our show, Dan Pancaldi, a wargaming, musical, multimedia, polymath. Dan hosts the No Enemies Here podcast on YouTube and is not only the host, but also the producer of this year's 2020 Charles S. Roberts Awards. Take it away, Dan.
You know, I'm editing right now. And yeah, we're going to get into the formalities and we're going to get all snooty and uptight and all that, because these are the Charles S. Robert Awards. We call them the Charlies. But there's some of you chitlins out there, you young guys. You don't know who Uncle Charlie is. So I made a little filmette, as you can say, with my music, of course. You know what I mean? Nepotism. But what I want to say is that the reason why you're playing these type of war games right now is really truly because of him, Uncle Charlie. So you know what? Before we start the show, relax. Go to the fridge, get yourself your favorite beverage. Watch the little bio clip I did, and then we're going to get right into it. Enjoy the Charlies.
Here to introduce the first category for the 2020 Charles S. Roberts Awards for games published in 2019. The category is Ancients to Pre-Napoleonics. This period is the largest of all the time spans of the historical periods. There are 5 finalists and 1 winner. The 5 finalists in alphabetical order are Command and Colors, Medieval, designer Richard Borg, GMT Games; Freeman's Farm, 1777, designer Maurice Suckling, publisher Worthington Games; Imperium Romanum, designer Al Lofi, publisher Decision Games; Nevsky, designer Volker Runke, GMT Games; and Peloponnesian War, Mark Herman, GMT Games. The top vote getter of these 5 finalists is Nevsky by Volker Runke. Congratulations to him. The entire design and publication team behind that game.
Hi, I'm Volker Runke, designer of Nevsky, and I am very happy to accept the award for the design Nevsky as Best Pre-Napoleonic War Game. I want to accept the award on behalf also of GMT Games and everyone there who had the faith in me and the patience to work on this project, and a special thanks to artists Chechu Nieto Sanchez and Paul Dobbins and Pablo Tarnikov, whose work, among those of many others, made Nevsky, I think, such an attractive product. I'd also like to thank my Eagle Eye developer, Wendell Albright, for seeing to it that we ended up with a virtually errata-free product. I am surprised and delighted at how widely Global Gamers have accepted this somewhat off the beaten path topic and treatment, and I happily accept the award of a Charlie for Nevsky. Thank you all so much.
Our next presenter is Fred Serval. Actually, Fred, I consider him a friend of mine. He's also the designer of Red Flag Over Paris, the rise and fall of the Paris Commune. It's going to be on GMT. And Fred's an intellect. And he's got strong opinions. I mean, what Frenchman doesn't have? But I digress. guy, super intellect. I think he builds blocks for a living. I don't know. But anyways, here he's going to be presenting, as he's going to tell you, his favorite subject. But he's going to go on. I mean, his favorite category. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't much of a huge description of Fred, because Fred is more than Fred. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Serval.
Hi, I'm Fred Serval, wargame designer and YouTuber. I have the privilege of It's my favorite era. It's the most interesting one. It's the most diverse. I love it. I'm actually even wondering, why do we have other awards? The best Napoleonic wargame is going to be the best wargame anyway. But let's jump into it and let's talk about the 5 nominees. And this year's first nominee is La Bataille de Bautzen 1813, released by Marshall Enterprise, a publisher that is specialized in Napoleonic era wargames. This is a monster hex and counter game with more than 1,100 counters. That's massive. The game is designed by Jason Soto and Dennis A. Spores, and the game includes the whole battle, obviously, as a campaign, but also 3 smaller scenarios of battles surrounding the main one. Nominee number 2 is Moravian Sun, published by Assies Edizioni, a very interesting Italian publisher. This game is designed by Enrico Acerbi, that is also the artist on that specific game. It uses the Vive la France Empire rules system to simulate the great Napoleon triumph of 1805, the Battle of Austerlitz. Personally, a topic that I never get bored playing. Nominee number 3 is Napoleon Retreats, Campaign in France Part 2 by Kevin Zucker. Kevin Zucker is a designer that has been designing Napoleonic wargames for more than 40 years now. A huge amount of experience, a great designer. And this specific game has been released by Operational Studies Group. This design focuses on March 1814, when Napoleon was retreating in front of Blücher. The empire was on the verge of collapse, and the game concentrates on 3 main battles that happened on the first half of March. The Battle of Craonne on the 6th, the Battle of Laon on the 10th of March, and finally the battle in Reims on the 13th. You can also play all the 3 battles in a big campaign mode. Nominee number 4 is 4/1815 Last Eagles by French publisher Ecosym and designed by the awesome Walter Wejdowski. This game is part of a series called Eagles of France that covers, for now, 4 major battles of the Napoleonic era. Quatre Bras is a battle that happens 2 days before Waterloo, confronting Ney with Wellington. That was tactical victory for the coalition and a strategic victory for the French army. This is a very interesting system that focuses on troop morale, attrition, and has this very exciting end-of-turn mechanic. And finally, last but not least, nominee number 5, Waterloo Campaign 1815, published by RBM Studio, the legendary publisher behind wargame magazine C3I. This one is designed by the also very legendary Mark Herman, the brilliant mind behind Empire of the Sun, SPQR, or We the People. This light operational wargame focuses on the whole campaign of Waterloo and uses the same system that was used the year before for Gettysburg, a very innovative and interesting approach to hex and counter operational wargaming. And now it is time to announce this year's winner of the Charles S. Roberts Award of the Best Napoleonic Era Wargame. And the winner is Quatre Bras 1815 by Ecosym and Walter Wejdowski. I would like to congratulate them for this amazing award, and I would like to thank all of you for supporting those 5 great, amazing games. And now, a word from the winners.
Hello, I'm Walter Wejdowski, designer of the Eagle of France series. I'd like to give a warm thank you from France for those who voted for Quatre Bras, who received this 2019 CSR Award for Napoleonic board games. I'd like to give you in a few words the reason why I started to design this series 5 years ago.
Quatre Bras is the 4th title in the series, started in 2015 for the bicentenary of Waterloo. I wanted to have nice looking games, regiment level, 200 meters per X, and playable in less than 1 day. Quatre Bras is of course compatible with Mini, and you can play the whole Battle of June 16. So again, thank you very much. Very happy to have CSA recognition for this series. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Ah, ben merci, Fred. À la prochaine, hein? Très bien fait. Très bien fait. Yes. Our next presenter is Andy Lokes. Andy Lokes, I know of, designed a game called Waning Crescent, shattered across the siege of Malta, 1565. You know, that's not obscure. I mean, look at Nevsky. But anyways, and also Toulon, 1793. And he will be presenting the post-Napoleonic games. Andy?
Hello, my name is Andy Lokes, and I've been asked to present the nominees and winner for the 2019 Charles S. Roberts Awards in the category of Best Post-Napoleonic Pre-World War II Era Board Game. And the nominees are Big Little Belgium by Ryan Heilman and Dave Shaw. Crusaden Revolution by David Gomez Areloso and published by Compass Games. Custoza by Andrea Brusati and published by Europa Simulazioni. Death Valley by Greg Loback and published by GMT Games. And finally, Triumph of Chaos, the Deluxe Edition by David Doctor and published by Clash of Arms Games. And I'm pleased to announce that the winner is Death Valley by Greg Loback, published by GMT Games. My congratulations to Greg and to all at GMT on this one. Thank you.
I'm Greg Lawbach, the designer of Death Valley Battles for the Shenandoah. I'm grateful for and honored by the selection of Death Valley as the Charles S. Roberts Game of the Year for post-Napoleon to World War II period. A project like this has many contributors. I would like to thank Bill Byrne for his invaluable help as developer, Alan Dickerson for his tireless work on the Vassal novels, and the playtest team for the critical efforts to improve the game. At GMT, I would like to thank Gene Billingsley and Tony Curtis for their patience and encouragement, and Charlie Kibler for his excellent graphics work. Finally, I would like to thank Richard Berg for the opportunity. He is missed. Thank you all, and God bless.
Salve amigos. The next presenter is a real Roman. Unlike me, I'm more of a Tuscan. But anyways, Riccardo Mazzini, a historian, an author, polylinguist, probably a great chef, and just put out his new game, Guerra di Carta. Not a new game, I should say, a new book. And he learned how to play war games with his dad. And it's co-authored with his dad. I mean, what I would have to have that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Riccardo Mazzini. Wale.
Hello, Riccardo Mazzini here, and from Rome, Italy, welcome to the Best World War II Era Wargame category for the 2020 Charles S. Roberts Awards. Let's get to the nominees. The first one, BCS Brazen Chariots Battles for Tobruk by Dean Essig and Jim Daniels for MMP. A very peculiar system which stands just in the middle between tactical and operational simulations. As the ancient Romans said, in medio stat virtus, virtue stands just in the middle, and Brazen Chariots Oh, if I love that title. Then, Last 100 Yards by Mike Denson for GMT Games. A tactical game that came as a shock to some wargamers because, soldiers don't like to be shot at, and getting shot at is a good motivation to get moving and become more active. Once again, what a shock. The third nominee is another GMT title, Stalingrad 42. Mark Simonich creates a good old-fashioned axe and counter wargame to remind us why we love so much good old-fashioned axe and counter wargames, especially those that show us why going to Stalingrad was actually not such a good idea. And again, U-Boat, the board game by Bartosz Pluta and Artur Salvarowski for Iron Wolf Studio, an apprehensive game in which plotting your course and executing proper torpedo runs and convoys is as important as cooking bread, cheese, and having fruits and vegetables. Underwater spaghetti, anyone? And finally, Wings of the Motherland by J.D. Webster for Clash of Arms, an Eastern Frontier combat wargame as much as in economic games. Economy of speed, altitude, and especially ammo expenditure. Now, these are all great games, don't you think? But only one can be a winner for this category. And the winner is U-Boat, the board game by Iron Wolf Studio.
Hello, this is Artur Salvarowski from Iron Wolf Studio. I have been asked to record this video for you because U-Boat the board game has won the Charles S. Roberts Award for the best World War II era board wargame. I guess we can all agree that U-Boat is not a typical wargame in the traditional sense of the term. It is probably as different from your typical wargame as it could be, and we might even go as far as to say that it's a whole different take on wargaming, and perhaps this is something that actually appealed to the voters. But as you already know, we set out with the idea of creating something unique. At the same time, we wanted to imbue our game with as much theme as possible on a variety of levels, from the theater of operations and how it evolved, through the use of weapons and tactics, to how German submariners lived, what they ate, how they slept, what illnesses they were prone to, and so much more. And being genuine World War II fans, we wanted U-Boat to convey the reality of this particular fighting unit. And it seems that we have managed to achieve that, at least to some degree. Last but not least, I would like to thank everyone who voted for our game. This particular award really means a lot to us, because in fact Iron Wolf Studio was founded with World War II games in mind, and we are already working on our further projects in this setting. I sincerely hope everybody who liked U-Boat will keep following what we do, and that you will be excited about our next games as much as you have been about U-Boats.
This is just great news. We just received a Charlie for the best Second World War war game. This would never ever happen if not more than 8,000 people who supported us at the Kickstarter. Thank you all. U-Boat is now available all across the world, even in Germany, which required some guts from our German partner Pegasus. Thank you. There are more Second World War games at Phalanx, and you can find it out at our website. This is a great feast for us, which wouldn't be possible without the people at the Iron Wolf Studio and Phalanx, without the designers, Bartosz Pluta, Artur Salvarowski, Chris Claw, who did the art on the box, and Waldemar Gumienny, who was the author of a 3D submarine that you will enjoy playing. And last but not least, Michał Ozon.
You know, when I was studying in school, I was at college level, right? Studying music. And I'm 22 years old. And, you know, you think you're hot poop. Being a musician, you know, you're good. The arrogance is unbelievable. But anyways, youth is wasted on the young. So anyways, my teacher says, hey, we're going to go to the Montreal Symphony Orchestra, and we're going to listen to a young violinist. I forget her name. Lin or something like that. Anyways, she was an Asian lady, and I said, "Oh, wow, young lady, yeah, like how young? 10." And I thought, 10. What are you gonna do when you're 10? What do you know when you're 10? You're 10. I mean, I'm still eating bugs and grasshoppers and dirt. I haven't even taken a bus yet at 10 years old. Anyways, I'm incredibly skeptical, and not even skeptical, for sure, this is going to be crap. But she's playing with the MSO, you know what I'm saying? Which is a world-renowned orchestra. Anyways, the music starts, it's the orchestra. This is a violin concerto. It's the orchestra. Then the orchestra quiets down, and she plays. And upon listening to that first note, just that first note, and it was just like a held sustained note, she had so much life that I'll never have that much life. I mean, I'm 56, I don't have that much life. She was 10, and that note, unbelievable. Not often you see people like that. Here's our next guest.
Hello everyone, my name is V and I'm from India. I'm studying in class 5, Navy Children's School, Kochi, Kerala. Corona Yuga is my first board game which I designed during the COVID lockdown. The game aims at educating about present pandemic in an entertaining way. The game spreads awareness about wearing masks, social distancing, and quarantine. The game also promotes yoga and appreciates our COVID warriors. With extensive support from all, we could design, publish, and launch our board game on Amazon in a record time of 45 days. The details about my game is available on Board Game Geek site. My upcoming games are on tourism and naval battleships, which will be launched soon. Now, coming to the Charles S. Roberts Award, the nominees for Best Amateur or Print and Play Board Game are as follows. Nominee 1, Battles for the Pacific. Battles for the Pacific is a low complexity, 2-player turn-based war game which is designed to reflect the key strategic and tactical aspects of naval and land warfare in the Pacific theater of operations. The main combatants in the game are the military forces of Japan and the United States of America and their allies. So the next is nominee 2, B-25 Prince of the Skies. B-25 Prince of the Skies based on the popular B-17 Queen of the Skies game. This has the same rule set, just modified for B-25 different campaign settings. And next is nominee 3, which is Storm over Dublin. Storm over Dublin is an area or impulse game of the 1916 Easter Rising and 1922 Battle of Dublin. The rebel player must see strategic buildings across Dublin and hold them against the odds. The government player must take back control of the city block using cavalry, infantry, artillery, gunboats, bombers, tanks, and armored cars, even if the city is reduced to ruins. Each side earns victory points for controlling areas and capturing enemy leaders and units. Only 4 Federations teleports. In the game, all you need to do is advance 11 ranks, receiving 11 different ship assignments, while engaging in 22 different missions and acquiring up to 15 different skills. You also are eligible for decorations and commendation of the highest order. It is also contained on one page. You roll, you write, hopefully you get promoted, or at least leave to fight another day. Only 5 S-boats code of the English Channel. S-boats code of the English Channel is a tactical level war game where you, as a captain, take the command of German Kriegsmarine Type S-100 Skeleton boat fast attack torpedo boat squadron in the English Channel during 1943 to 1944. Your main goal is to survive by sinking as many enemy ships as you and your squadron can. Missions include offensive patrols, mini-laying, and search and rescue missions. So, all the nominees, best of luck, hands crossed, good luck, thank you, bye bye.
Well, Veer, that's pretty awesome. And I have to confess something, Veer. It's guys like you, little geniuses like you that, give me, well, thank God there's hope for the future. But I'm a musician, Veer. Huh? And I actually started late in life. I was 19. But I worked really hard. I became pretty good at what I did. But I had to work really, really, really hard, Veer. You don't look like you had to work really, really hard, Veer. You know what I'm saying? So little guys like you kind of freak me out. But congratulations on your game. And I'm going to announce the winner of the print and play board war games. And that is Federation Stellar Force. That's right. By Robert Carroll. And Veer, here's Robert Carroll.
Wow. This is a surprise and a truly great honor. I'm excited to see the Charles S. Robert Awards return after a hiatus, but even more amazed to be nominated for Best Amateur Game. I am humbled and honored to accept for Federation Stellar Force, which is the first in a series of low-complexity, dice-driven, role-player-esque games which are supposed to be played on one page. The One Page in a Life series, or Opal, is dedicated to my late grandmother, Opal Hamilton, who spent countless hours playing with her geeky grandson. This is truly a great honor, and I really appreciate everyone who nominated it, especially, but also those who played it, who continue to play it, who enjoy the series. That's what it's there for. That's why I posted it on Board Game Geek, Print and Play, and again, thank you all, and I appreciate everything that you guys have done for me.
Hey, this is Herman Lutman. I just want to say congratulations to all the nominees of the Charles Roberts Award.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Robert Carroll. I'm in touch with Robert Carroll, And on my show, sometimes I have people do intros. Mark Herman did an intro. Hi, you're watching No Enemies Here, blah, 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 and other people that I can't think of right now. And I asked Robert, I said, Robert, send me an intro or something, So this is what he sends me.
Shut up!
I have trouble with her and Harold Buchanan. They gave me the hardest times.
This is Mark D. with grognard.com, and I'm honored to present the Charles S. Roberts nominees for the Best Game Review or Analysis category. The first nominee is ArmchairGeneral.com, a great online resource for those interested in military history, wargaming, and strategy gaming. The talented staff includes senior online editor Rick Martin and author Ray Garvey. Armchair General has been producing top-notch content since 2003 with their in-depth game reviews, articles, and interactive debates. The next nominee is Harsh Rules, Breaking Down Board Games, a YouTube channel created and filled with video content by gamer Ben Harsh. If you're a visual learner and you want to painlessly learn how to play a game, Ben's channel should be your first stop. His instructional videos are well organized and the production quality is outstanding. Ben is obviously a frustrated animator. Harsh? Maybe, but with more than 150 videos to choose from, you're sure to find something that interests you. The next nominee is the Player's Aid blog, which specializes in game reviews, playthroughs, after actions reports, interviews, and top 10 lists. Site hosts Grant and Alexander burst on the scene in 2016 and quickly set new standards for written as well as video content. Throw in Solitaire Sundays and Wargame Wednesdays, and you've got the makings of an engaging site that keeps visitors coming back for more. The final nominee is Wojciech TV, which is Polish for Warrior TV. It's a YouTube channel that's been around for less than a year, but already has a loyal following and has cranked out an impressive array of half-hour videos. Hosted by Michel Leviathan Sorbet, the videos are mostly Polish language, but he does do some in English. He also mixes it up by occasionally having a guest or a co-host. Like many sites today, the production quality of Wojciech TV videos make them easy to watch. And those are the nominees for the Best Game Review or Analysis category. And the winner is the Player's Aid. Congratulations, guys.
So, thank you very much for the all the votes and the nominations.
You guys are crazy.
Yeah, we're humbled. It's really awesome, but we do this for you guys. So this award goes out to all of our viewers and subscribers as well, because you keep us going and help us to do this.
Yeah.
But Charles S. Roberts Award, it's a great honor. So thank you very much to everyone who voted for it.
Well, and the only other comment I have is I know there's a lot of other people out there that are really good at what they do, and I think it's a testament to the hobby that there are so many people that are interested in doing what we do. But yeah, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. We're very humbled and shocked and surprised.
Yes.
And awed. All those words, those descriptors. So thank you very much.
You know, it's hunting season. You can never be too safe when you got guys like this there coming after you. So the next guy I'm going to present is also a friend of mine called Jan Heineman. He's got a show on YouTube called Let's Play History. This guy's another intellect. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Jan Heineman.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to present to you today the nominees and winners of the Charles S. Roberts Awards for Excellence in the Conflict Simulation Game Industry 2019 in the computer wargame categories. Over the last 30 years, we were able to follow the development of computer or digital wargames. All sorts of games have been made, from simple to hardcore simulations. The graphics and accessibility are improving quite a lot recently, and more board games are getting dedicated digital adaptations too, not only in Vassal, Tabletop Simulator, or other proxies that had proven to be of huge service to the community these days, but as full-featured games. But without further ado, let's get to the games. In the category Best Modern Era War Game, we have the following nominees. Command Modern Operations is a hardcore simulation of tactical and operational naval and air operations post-World War II. Developed by Warfare Sims and published by Slytherin in November 2019, Command Modern Operations and its predecessors are used for military training as well as played by engaged wargamers. Next one is Unity of Command 2. November 2019, Unity of Command 2 brought casual operational computer wargaming to another level. Developed by Crow Team and published by 2x2 Games in November 2019, Unity of Command 2 focuses on Allied operations against the Axis in World War II in North Africa and Europe. This game is extremely accessible for new wargamers, but comes with interesting in-depth mechanics built around headquarters, supply, and specialized battalions. The next game is Warpland. The first game of Kraken Studios, again published by Slytherin, is a classical hex encounter World War II in the Western theater war game that is heavily inspired by the Strategic Command series, as it is developed by one of its core playtesters and expands on more unit agility. One of the few digital hex encounter games where you can split your units. And the next one is World of Tanks. The good old arcade, massively online multiplayer tactical tank shooter World of Tanks, in which players clash in team engagement to earn experience points, which then can be used to research better equipment and new tank models. Published in 2010 by Wargaming.net, it has gotten new tank branches for Swedish, French, and British vehicle classes in 2019. And the winner in the category Best Modern Era Computer War Game is Command Modern Operations.
Hello everyone. This is obviously a tremendous and humbling honor, and we thank everyone who has suggested and voted for us. They say that success has many fathers, and in this case it is true. We would like to thank our families and friends for fully standing by us in this endeavor, the entire team of Warfare Sims for turning the vision into reality, Matrix Slytherin, our publishers, for supporting and enabling us every step of the way, and everyone out there in the civilian and professional space who believes in our vision and has helped us in one way or another. You know who you are, and we are grateful. Thank you all.
And the next category, ladies and gentlemen, is Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Computer War Game. The nominees are first, Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. Developed by Tindalos Interactive and published by Focus Home Interactive in January 2019, Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 is a real-time tactical space battle game with massive battles based on the tabletop game Gothic Armada and set in the Warhammer 40k universe. The next game in this category is Fantasy General 2. Fantasy General 2 is a text and miniatures digital war game owned by Gravity and published by Slytherin. It is a reiteration of the classic back from the 90s. Morale and unit supporting each other are the key in these turn-based fantasy battles. And third, Stellaris. The popular grand strategy game by Paradox Interactive was published in 2016, but the Lithrid Species DLC introduced a new alien race and mechanics to the game in October 2019. Space battles, planet and state management makes Stellaris a solid game from the Paradox family of Crusader Kings and Europa Universalis fame. And the winner in the category Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Computer War Game 2019 is Stellaris with Lizard Species. And the next category, ladies and gentlemen, is Best Computer War Game Expansion or Update. And the nominee is Through the Ages, New Leaders and Wonders. Through the Ages is a digital version of the eponymous board game published by Czech Games Edition. It is a card drafting game in which players develop their factions through 3 ages of human history. The expansion, or DLC, New Leaders and Wonders, adds new wonders and additional historical personalities to the game. And Through the Ages, New Leaders and Wonders is our winner in the category Best Computer War Game Expansion or Update. And the next category, ladies and gentlemen, is Best Computer War Game Graphics. The first nominee, Steel Division 2. After Steel Division Normandy 44, Eugene Systems has switched to the Eastern Front in World War II in June 2019. Steel Division 2 comes with massive tactical real-time battles, totally destroyable terrain, and a new campaign system familiar from Eugene's War Game series. Next nominee, U-Boot, the board game. Right, the board game by Phalanx. Reading this, I first thought U-Boat, the computer game, was meant, which by the way has a pretty similar art and thematic focus, but it is also not a game on its own. The companion app that you need for playing U-Boot, the board game. It provides the enemy AI for the highly acclaimed board game, and in fact, for an app, it has good graphics. The next nominee is again Unity of Commands 2 by Pro Team and 2x2 Games. It not only combines accessibility and neat command and supply mechanics, but also has improved on the graphics from part 1. Instead of chess-like figures, Unity of Command 2 comes with animated 3D models representing brigades, divisions, and battle groups. And finally, we have World of Tanks. Again, well, this seems to be an evergreen, but indeed the graphics aren't too bad, keeping in mind that it is a massively multiplayer online game. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the category Best Computer Wargame Graphics is Unity of Command 2.
Hello, this is Tomislav from 2x2 Games. We are honored and very happy to receive the Charles S. Roberts Award for Best Computer Graphics in a Wargame. Ours is a small team from Zagreb, Croatia. About 6 people in the team. The graphical side, the kudos should definitely go to our graphics artists, Goran Mitrovic and Val Vagot. And again, we are super happy and thankful that our efforts recognized, and we'll do our best to keep your war games pretty and fun to play in the future.
This year's nominees for the best pre-20th century computer war game truly represent a span of history. The first nominee is Blocks, Julius Caesar, designed by Grant Daglish and Justin Thompson, published by Avalon Digital. This is a replication of the tabletop block game Julius Caesar from Columbia Games. It focuses on the operational and strategic aspects of the Roman Civil War between Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great. The next nominee is Fields of Glory Empire, published by Slytherin, designed by Philippe Maliket. Field of Glory Empire is a grand strategy game with over 70 playable factions. It spans the Middle East to Europe, beginning at the death of Alexander the Great. With a unique 15-rung civilization ladder and a non-linear technology track, you can chart your own course to make your empire rise and delay its fall. Bonus feature is the ability to integrate with Fields of Glory 2 to play out your tactical battles and import the results in Fields of Glory Empire. Next nominee is Blocks, Richard III, designed by Tom Daglish and Jerry Taylor, and published by Avalon Digital. Richard III, War of the Roses, is a conversion of the block game by Columbia Games. It covers the Civil War known as the War of the Roses in England. It depicts both the vicious military campaigns and the rich political struggles that surrounded the late rule of the Mad King Henry VI, the Yorkist usurper Edward IV, and the bloody rule of the titular Richard III. A faithful recreation of the block game, it takes advantage of the computer to enhance the fog of war elements.
wargame adaptation. And ourselves and Columbia Games are very pleased of the honor to us. We will be most pleased to receive your votes and get the nominations. And in all cases, work is continuing on the Blocks engine, and we expect to give you more elements and more features and more nice Columbia Games adaptation on this digital engine. In all cases, thanks for your support and have fun with the game.
Our next presenter is Bruce Monin, who will speak about his experience he's had in the working industry. Bruce?
Hello. I have spent almost 2 decades in this hobby as a member of the BPA Board of Directors. I've also spent over a decade as an editor of MMP's Operations magazine. But before those, I was editor for a decade of an amateur wargame magazine called The Board Gamer. And I can tell you from personal experience, nobody publishes an amateur magazine in this hobby in an attempt to get rich. The sole reason to do it is an attempt to give back to the hobby, to make it better. So it is my honor to provide the nominees for this year's Charles S. Roberts Award for Best Amateur Wargame Magazine. And these nominees are Bonsai, which was founded by Matt Shostak in 1995. Bonsai was first published by the Austin Advanced Squad Leader Club, and now is the newsletter of the Texas ASL Club and continues to publish player news, tournament information, and strategy tips. All issues are free and available on the web at texas-asl.com. The editorial team is Sam Tyson and Rick Reinisch. Next, we have Dispatches from the Bunker, published by Vic Provost. It is the longest continuously running ASL publication that contains a scenario in each issue. Published twice a year, Dispatches now contains multiple scenarios and looks at regional ASL play in the northeastern U.S. and global tournament play. Subscription information can be found at yankeegamers.org/dispatches.php. Our third nominee is Jim Werbinet's Line of Departure. This has been published quarterly since October of 1991. It is a 5-time Charles S. Roberts Award winner and covers all genres of board and computer games. Supplementing the publication is a free online support site. Subscription information is available at jimwerbineth.com/LOD. And finally, our fourth and final nominee is War Diary, edited and published by Roy Matheson. This concentrates on thoroughly examining existing games, both large and small. Each issue contains historical articles and tie-ins to gaming topics, new game scenarios, variants, and expansions, and also game and book reviews, interviews with notable gaming personalities, and articles on game strategy and good play. Subscription information is available at wardiarymagazine.com. And this year's winner is War Diary by Roy Matheson. Congratulations, Roy.
Hi, I'm Roy Matheson, editor and publisher of War Diary magazine. I wanted to thank all of you that voted for us as the best amateur wargaming magazine of the year. We're greatly appreciated. All credit really goes to the staff because of the wonderful articles. If you're not familiar with this, please check us out. You can see us at wardiarymagazine.com.
Hi, I'm Derek Landell, and it's my privilege to present to you the 2019 Charles S. Roberts Award for Best Magazine Board Wargame. Wow, that's a mouthful of a title. Some of you may be wondering, what exactly is a magazine board wargame? Well, simply put, it's just a wargame that's been published in a magazine. Magazines have been a popular medium for wargames as far back as the early 1970s, and it's practice that continues still to this day. Lucky for us wargamers, there was no lack of quantity or quality in 2019 for magazine board wargames. From the competition, these 5 gems have emerged as our nominees. Campaigns of 1777, designed by Harold Buchanan and published in the magazine Strategy and Tactics. This is a 2-player game set during the American Revolution. It features the battles of Fort Ticonderoga, Fort Stanwix, as well as Brandywine, Germantown, and Saratoga. Die Atom Bomb, designed by Stephen Cunliffe and published in the magazine Against the Odds. Die Atom Bomb is a 2 to 5 player game that takes place during World War II in Germany. Each player is a faction in the German industry, government, or military seeking to start work on the German nuclear program. Players face numerous challenges, including recruiting scientists and gathering nuclear resources. Great East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere, designed by Yasushi Nakaguro and published in the magazine Special Ops. Great East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere is a 2-player game covering war, diplomacy, and politics in the Asia-Pacific theater during World War II from 1939 to 1944. Pitts War, designed by Francois Stanislaus Thomas and published in the magazine Paper Wars. Pitts War is a 2-player game simulating the epic struggle between the UK and France. The game begins at the dawn of the French Revolution in 1792 and culminates at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. And finally, Waterloo Campaign 1815, designed by Mark Herman and published in the magazine C3I. Waterloo Campaign 1815 is a 2-player game. Players can take on the role of Napoleon and the French, or the Anglo-Allied coalition of the Duke of Wellington and Prussia's von Blücher. This campaign historically ended with Napoleon's demise at the Battle of Waterloo. Players will fight to repeat or change that outcome. So those are the nominees for the 2019 Charles S. Roberts Best Magazine Board Wargame Award. Congrats to all the nominees. And the winner is, drumroll, Campaigns of 1777, designed by Harold Buchanan, published in the magazine Strategy and Tactics. To accept this award, the winning designer, Harold Buchanan.
Hey gang, it's Harold. Very pleased to hear that Campaigns of 1777 has won the Charles S. Roberts Award in 2019 for the Best Magazine Wargame. It's very exciting to be associated with that award and to have a game on that austere list. First, I want to thank all the people that voted, all the people that have played it, bought it, enjoyed it, given me some feedback. That's terrific payback for designing the game. Secondly, I want to thank Decision Games, Scott Cummins, Callie Cummins, Doug Johnson, who did all the development on the game, did a fantastic job. Terry Leeds did the art. He continues to make me look like a better designer through his great work, and he produced, in this case, I think, the best magazine wargame map ever. I want to thank the San Diego crew for all their hard work, played test in my games. They add value every time they touch it, and thanks, really appreciate that. And then last, I want to make sure that we thank the committee for all their hard work. When you resurrect an award like this, it's a lot of work, a lot of detail, a thankless job, no pay, and fraught with traps. And appreciate them reinvigorating an award that's been so important to our history and will be so important going forward. Thanks.
Okay, here I am back at the old editing booth, okay? Probably not the same date, same hour, whatever. But you see how sweet Harold is? He's a sweetheart. Soft-spoken, debonair, good-looking guy. You know what I mean? I know him otherwise. And words cannot express how much I know Harold otherwise. As a matter of fact, being in the editing room, I found an old clip that I've played. Maybe some of you have seen it. Maybe some of you haven't. Here we go. Something really weird happened to me. I get a phone call, and it's Harold Buchanan. Wow, Harold Buchanan. I'm freaked, you know. Hey, Harold, how are you? He says, you're Dan Pincaldi? Yeah. Hey, you called my house. It's me. And then he lost it. He loses it. Well,
I was so happy that it was Harold Buchanan. I pressed record so, I can keep that conversation for posterity. This is how it went. Hello? Hello, is this Dan Pancaldi? Yes, it is. This is the No Enemies Here, Dan Pancaldi? Yes, sir. Well, this is Harold Buchanan. Harold? Wow. What an honor. Dan Pancaldi, are you wearing that stupid beef in Michigan t-shirt? What? Yeah, you take that beef in Michigan t-shirt off or I'll break your beef head. Harold, it's just a Michigan t-shirt. You don't know nothing. You shut up. You speak only when you're spoken to. You hear me? I know people. I got friends in the Pentagon and I got friends in the CIA. I can either bomb you or I can snipe you. So you take that beef t-shirt off before I come back there and rip that beef t-shirt off your body. Okay, Harold. I'll be sending you some beef t-shirts and that's what you're gonna wear. Okay. Kiss my ass. Hello? Harold? Well, I guess that's that then. And now to present to you the best postcard or small format war game is Kevin Bertram of Fort Circle Games. What do you think, Gracie? Hey, who's there? Hey, who's there? Who's there? Oh, well.
Hello, my name is Kevin Bertram, and I'm the owner of Fort Circle Games and the designer of the Shores of Tripoli. I'm very pleased to announce the Charles S. Roberts Award for Best Postcard Small Format Board War Game. They say good things come in small packages, and these small format games sure pack a punch. The nominees are A Heart-Pounding Fight, The Battle for La Hassante, 5 for Fighting, The Battles of D-Day, Emua, The Unification of Hawaii 1795, Ju-87 Stuka, Jericho Trumpets, SWAT, Hostage Rescue. And the winner is Emua, The Unification of Hawaii 1795 by David P. Rosado and published by LPS Inc. Congratulations, David.
Hello, everybody. Hope you all are safe and sound. My name is David Rosado. I'm the creator of the postcard game Imura. This is a great honor to win a Charles S. Roberts Award. It's a very prestigious award, and this is my first game design. I'd like to thank a couple people. One, the publishers of the game, Against the Odds magazine, and in particular, Captain Generals Tim and Steve, and of course, their team. Again, thank you. I'm humbled and flattered to win this award, and thank you.
Hi, I'm Jack Green, Quarterdeck International. Been in the hobby for decades. And today we're going to talk about the Charles S. Roberts nominees and winner for the best professional magazine in the industry. But before, I want to preface my remarks with a couple of comments about the market itself. I mean, many of us go back to the old strategy and tactics days where you got a game in the magazine. And who would have thunk back in those days that strategy and tactics would actually run an ad in Playboy magazine? I don't know how much of a response they got. And just to give you a little sense of the difference back in those days, Avalon Hill had the General at the time. They ran their ads in Boys Life. So quite a difference there. But that was part of Jim Dunnigan's overall strategy, was to try to put these ads out into a myriad of different news sources, opportunities to do advertising to attract more subscribers. And of course, that was the key. And you got to understand about a magazine. There's actually two things that are very important. One is cash flow. You have to continue to get your resubscriptions coming in, and new subscribers for that matter, so that you can maintain your cash flow, so you can pay for the printing, you can pay for salaries if they exist, and they used to be, well, let's put it this way. You didn't go into publish a war game magazine if you wanted to make a lot of money. I mean, that's just, Gary Gygax and Dungeons and Dragons is the exception to the rule, so to speak. So the opportunity to get a magazine with a game in it every 2 months was a real magnet. And there's still a hardcore group of gamers who still subscribe to Strategy and Tactics, and there are 2 twin magazines that are out there, World War II and Modern War. So this business has stayed vibrant. And that brings up another point, which is that the overall costs of printing and publishing on a unit basis has declined. You still need to have ideally 500 units or more if you're going to be publishing a game or if you're publishing a magazine. But more importantly, you have to be able to sell those. So that brings up another aspect to game publishing in a magazine form, is that you also have to deal with the time schedule. You got to have a product out every 2 months, or you're going to potentially look going to bankruptcy court. In the case of Conflict Magazine, which I worked with Dana Lombardi back in 1972, 1973, and yes, I did bankroll issue number 5, the Calk and Goal issue. And Dana also made good on that, I might add. It took us a while, but we got there. You can't have a bi-monthly magazine that comes out biannually. And that's what happened with the Conflict Magazine back in the day. Aliyah, which is a magazine out of, actually, I'm not sure if it's Spain or Italy, but from Europe for sure, just reappeared on the radar in the last 2 weeks after being absent for several years. And so that's one reason I never got into publishing a magazine, is because that timetable, that requirement to having a product, whether ready to go, it's difficult, and it's time consuming. And the other thing is sometimes, I know this will come as a shock to you folks out there, but you might end up with some errata. There's some classic stories. I'm not going to name the game, and I'm not even going to name the publisher, but there was a publisher back in the 70s who published a rather large monster game, and it was in the States, that basically they were play testing it for the first time as they were printing the game and getting it ready to go out the door. They did a reasonable job, and the errata wasn't too tremendous. Of course, another classic one is Flat Top, which I worked on when I was with Battleline in '77, the summer of '77, that we were rushing to make a deadline with that, which was to be at Origins, the old school Origins. And that would have been Origins 3. And as we were trying to get 4 products at this time, Flat Top, the Atlantic game, there was, I believe, 2 others. I can't remember off the top of my head which they were. But the Craig Taylor, the late great Mr. Taylor, he had in the manuscript of the rules, which was a thick rule book, if you recall, 2,000 typos. And that was just to get it out. Now, bless Battleline Soul and Steve Peak and the gang, they got anybody who bought the game at Origins got a new corrected copy of the rules shortly thereafter. But it was all being driven by the timetable. So that kind of gives you a little bit of background there on what the essence of doing this magazine publishing entails. But let's also talk about the market for a second, because the market from when I had Quarterdeck games in the early mid 80s to Quarterdeck International today, which, you know, we're talking several decades of evolution, if you like. I mean, yes, the hardcore, the hard old grognard, folks my age down into their mid 50s, who've been in the hobby for decades. I mean, we're getting to be a smaller and smaller group. I mean, clearly we lost a ton of people to D&D and Magic. We lost a even bigger ton of people to computer gaming and computer war gaming, and also a whole new group coming up through there. But there have been several key aspects that I think that a lot of folks don't realize. In the old days, the European market, in which I would include the United Kingdom, in the old days, you would sell 10, maybe 15% of your games, either as single orders or to distributors to Europe as a whole, okay? Now, we have a vibrant wargaming industry in Europe. I mean, we could start with Italy. I can name 4 companies off the top of my head. There's at least 2 in Spain. There are game companies in France. We have a very prolific publisher in Poland. And I recently purchased some games from Sweden on conflicts during World War II in Finland. So, and of course, we have the British market. Today, that market probably represents somewhere between 30 and upwards to maybe 45% of war game sales worldwide. Now, we look at Japan and we look at China. Before I leave the European market, there's another thing that I think, and I'm not sure of this. I believe it to be accurate, but I believe you'll find that the average age of the European wargamer is probably in their 40s, going into their 50s. Now, there are obviously some old grognards like myself that are over there and been there since, the 70s, really, or before. But that's a younger age group that is still vibrant, and I think going to continue to do some growing. And it's also propelled by the Euro phenomena, the classic, of course, is Catan, 4-player game, German design, brilliant design. But it's spilled over into other games, and there has been some crossbreeding in the block games, like what Columbia does, for example, or GMT does a fair number as well. I believe Compass has also done some block games that appeals to the Euro crowd. So that's another factor that needs to be put into this equation. Okay, so let's talk about the Japanese market for a second. Now, the Japanese market is probably a hardcore of around 2,000 gamers who tend to be in their late 30s, early 40s. There's a couple of fairly well-known game designers that have come from Japan at this time. And of course, the old Command magazine, which has been defunct now for well over a decade, is still being published and printed in Japan, using games that they license from American publishers. Revolution Games has had a couple of games picked up by them. And in turn, they also have their own domestic designers, of which I try to give attention to when I can. And the fact that it's a younger crowd is also beneficial in the long-term health of our hobby. And then the final one I want to talk about is China, which has come on the scene. They basically, I don't know how China got involved in it. I know that part of it was because they were printing a fair number of games in China for American publishers. For example, my Bear Flag Republic, I had the rule book, the map, the game counters, and the cards done there, where I had the rule book done here, not the rule book, the charts, the combat results table cards done here locally. I have a very good relationship with War Drum Games, and I'm very thankful for it, I might add. And that's been very beneficial to Quarterdeck International and its future. So anyway, we're talking about maybe 2,000, maybe 3,000 hardcore war gamers in China, which out of a population of essentially 1 billion, it's tiny. But again, one of the key things here that has to be remembered is that they're primarily 20 and 30-year-olds. Now, there's been a number of area movement games that came out of China of late, but they seem to be going back to the hex games, which is definitely old school. But anyway, that kind of brings you up a sense of what the overall market is and some of the aspects of publishing a game magazine. And I should add that these magazines don't have to, but most of them do include a game in every issue. So I'm going to get now to the nominees for the Best Professional War Game magazine, and this will be in alphabetical order. And forgive me on my pronunciation of the French. Against the Odds, published by Steve Rawling and edited by Andy Nunez, is a 5-time winner. And it's a good magazine, good games. They've done a good job. I've got several in my keepers list, so to speak. By the way, I'm not a hardcore collector. I keep games that I enjoy, and I have moved many games out of the house that I didn't enjoy or it just didn't make sense to keep. The second nominee is Battles, published by Olivier Revenu, and is a 3-time Best Professional War Game magazine winner. And Battles is one that has not been the most timely in publication, but they do a great deal of work. Again, I've got several copies of their magazine that I keep as keepers, so to speak. Then there is C3I by RBM Studios and edited by Roger McGowan. Steve McGowan and Mark Krasnipak. Oh, God, sorry about that, Mark. What can I say? I mean, Roger and team have been stalwarts in the hobby and business for decades. And I might just add a couple points about Roger here. He, along with Dana Lombardi, really represented for years the West Coast philosophy of graphics, which were warm colors, stuff that popped, whereas the East Coast tended to be more black and white. If you look at some of the early graphics that say S&T put out, or for that matter, Avalon Hill, you'll get a sense of what I mean. The other thing about Roger, just as an aside, that's quite interesting is he was the first one to sneak a credit on an Avalon Hill game box, and that was the Russian campaign. And it was just coming out when I was leaving Avalon Hill, and the management at Avalon Hill was of the opinion that an artist shouldn't necessarily have their name on a game. In fact, in early Avalon Hill days, you didn't even know who designed the game, let alone did the graphics. Well, Roger snuck his name on the front cover of that, and bless his soul, that went on to become quite common in the hobby. The next nominee is Modern War by Decision Games and edited by Kyle Lockwood and design layout by Jason Stroyer. Modern War is one of the 3 horsemen, so to speak, of Decision Games, and very good graphics. Again, a game in every issue, and comprehensive operation. And finally, the final nominee is Strategy and Tactics, also by Decision Games, and edited by Kyle Lockwood and design layout by Jason Stroyer, and is a 12-time winner. I mean, when you think of a game in the magazine, if you were to pick one name and you were on Jeopardy, you would name Strategy and Tactics. That's just the nature of the beast. Now, and the winner is C3I.
On behalf of the entire team at C3I Magazine, RPM Studio, we're honored that you have chosen our magazine as the best wargame magazine of 2019. We have always strived for quality in each and every issue since 1992, and we are excited to see C3I is appreciated and recognized by the gaming community worldwide. As editor-in-chief and art director, it's quite thrilling to be the first to read the articles submitted to me for each new issue. Our staff of all-star writers are very talented, and your work in the pages of C3I will be enjoyed and utilized by players for many years to come. We have to give special mention to C3I's Mark Herman, providing us with yet another thought-provoking installment of his CSR award-winning column, Cleo's Corner, not to mention his numerous other excellent articles in the magazine over the years. And of course, our second volume in our C3I Beginner Game Series, the Waterloo Campaign 1815. This is all thanks to Mark's genius. We strongly applaud him. The production of C3I 33 was especially difficult since it marked the passing of two industry giants and very close friends, Richard H. Berg and Ted Jensen. We dedicate C3I 33 and this CSR award to their memory. Thank you to all our fans around the world.
Hello, I'm Tim Kask, and the organizers have asked me to say a little something about how I've seen the game and the industry morph over the years and become what they are today. Not sure why they picked me, except perhaps longevity. Certainly isn't with my record in magazines, 4 that are no longer in existence. So where did it all begin? Well, for me, I found board games when I was in 6th grade, like 1962. And I thought that was gaming, and I was happy with that. And for many years. And then I found miniatures. And that was when I was in college, and a whole new thing. In the meantime, there were some guys in Minneapolis and some guys in Lake Geneva and some guys in Chicago that were doing other things. They were having campaigns of miniatures. They were working out this barony versus that one. And some of this arose out of diplomacy. There was a lot of the game diplomacy involved in these early campaigns. And they were just fighting out the battles when they couldn't work diplomacy, when diplomacy failed. And this became a regular thing. Somewhere along the line, somebody, Chicago, Lake Geneva, probably Minneapolis, but not for sure, is these things were evolving and guys were making up new games to play and new things to do. Somebody took a shine to a figure. We'll never know what that perfect moment was with him. But somebody decided that they had a special fondness for a given figure. Probably a leader figure, probably something they used in their minis battles to represent themselves, or leading a treasured unit, like your mailed fist punch. In any way, he was special. So this guy must be special, so now he needs to be hit twice. And there we go. And that's a superhero. That becomes a nameless character. When Gary set out to write the rules for Dungeons and Dragons, he was aiming it at the miniatures crowd. The people like the people he played with, who did miniatures campaigns, who had units, who had armies, and who had leaders that did things. And the original rules were, if you didn't know anything about miniatures, the original rules were horrible. I told him that. That's how I got hired, and started making them more legible. But the market was not there. We didn't even call it role playing in the beginning. I don't remember what we called it. We didn't call it anything until one day one of us came up with it must be role play. I do know that when we started getting some attention from the media, three of us, I know Gary and I both, and maybe one of the other guys, when asked by writers, what's it like, we would say it was like being in a play, playing a role, assuming this character, and I think eventually we just kept calling it role play. I believe that's how it came about. That just a thing of convenience. And anyway, that's how that happened. While this was going on, the other gaming individuals, creative people, were coming out with stuff, and Gary's and I had a mutual vision, and that was fulfilled in Dragon Magazine. And we provided a vehicle that lifted all boats, because the rising tide lifts all boats. We churned the tide. Didn't say that quite right, did I? We churned the tide and made it happen. And we didn't care. As long as it was a good game, I wrote about it, or I had someone, I published about it. We encouraged the other companies. We guarded our copyrights, granted, but we were rather generous in giving permissions for fanzines and things like that. We were rather generous because we wanted to see not only our game, not only role playing, because now other people were jumping on the wagon and coming out with their versions, but we wanted to see the hobby grow. And now look where it's grown to. I know Gary was quite pleased with where it had gone at the time that he died, and it's gone even farther since. So I know he'd be pleased. I know I'm the last of the original TSR people that kind of kick-started, and there's a word that has a new meaning now. We kind of kick-started this whole thing, and I'm real pleased to have done that. And I'm pleased with the social effects that we initiated and made possible through role playing. And if imitation is the best form of flattery, yeah, we must have done pretty good, because everybody and their brother has jumped into it. You can't play a video game without acknowledging some part of role playing in its mechanics. So where's it gone? Well, it went from me playing with a guy in 6th grade for 2 years because I didn't know any other gamers, and then not playing with anybody in high school, and then playing with one guy for a year in the military, and then playing with 8 guys in junior college. No, actually 4 guys in junior college, 8 when I got to the university. Now I know hundreds. The hobby is enormous. The conventions are huge. I quit going to Gen Con because it's so big and impersonal and that, but I still continue to go to the small towns. You should too if you're able to. Otherwise, play virtually. I'm real tickled with where we've gone. I'm real tickled that there's still a market for creative people. And I think that Kickstarter is probably the best thing that ever hit gaming, because if you have a good enough game and you successfully kickstart it and you fulfill your Kickstarter on time, and the game's good, you'll do well. And if you don't do any of those things in between, you won't. But I think, in some regards, it's a really almost golden age of gaming. We have all the internet gaming, which I grant you is not as much fun as face to face, and we're restricted in our face to face. But isn't it the sharing, the witty banter, the needling that goes around? That still happens virtually. Some games you can see each other's face when you deliver that stinger. We miss the camaraderie, the fellowship around the table. And it's a good thing that gaming produces. It's real sad to miss. We'll get through this. Be smart. Take care of yourself. Take precautions. I'm known for this. Wear a mask. Continue the game. And I hope to see some of you at a convention sometime in 21.
Hi, I'm Candace Harris, and I'm here to present the Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Wargame category for the 2019 Charles S. Roberts Awards. Some of the previous winners for this category were War of the Ring Collector's Edition in 2010, Space Empires 4X in 2011, and Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures Game in 2012. The nominees for 2019 are Dune, designed by Bill Eberly, Jack Kittredge, and Peter Alatka, based on Frank Herbert's classic sci-fi novel Dune, and is a re-implementation of the original Dune board game from 1979. In Dune, 2 to 6 players are leaders of one of 6 asymmetrical factions, vying for control over the most valuable resource in the universe, the mysterious spice melange, which is only found at great cost on the planet Dune. Escape from Hades, designed by Fred Manzo and developed by Herman Lutman. Escape from Hades is a solitaire science fiction game played on 2 wraparound hex maps representing the exterior and interior of a cylindrical prison. It's a race against time as you make an opposed landing on the prison's surface, destroy its defenses, shimmy in through the maintenance shafts, fight your way to the princess, then fight your way back out again, all while your ship fights for its mechanical life against squadrons of enemy fighters and surface defenses. Red Alert Space Fleet Warfare, designed by Richard Borg, who's famous for designing the Commands and Colors system and his games Battle Cry, Commands and Colors Ancients, and Memoir 44, to name a few. Red Alert Space Fleet Warfare is a Commands and Colors game in space and allows 2 to 6 players to duke it out in space. The play of commands cards drives the action and creates a fog of war, while battle dice resolve combat quickly and efficiently. Combat cards add an element of suspense and challenge players to maintain their star token reserves to power their combat cards through the course of battle. The action on a combat card may hinder the opposition forces, enhance a player's units, or may instantly change the course of battle. Space Infantry Resurgence, designed by Gottardo Zancani and Blackwell Hurd. In Space Infantry Resurgence, 1 to 2 players command an elite squad of veteran space infantry soldiers, taking on the daunting task of fighting against unknown alien foes through challenging environments using only the weapons and tools on hand, or whatever can be scrounged along the way to achieve victory. And finally, Time of Legends Joan of Arc, designed by Pascal Bernard. Time of Legends Joan of Arc is a story-driven game for 2 to 4 players with miniatures set amid the tumult of the 100 Years' War. Players take on the roles of various factions in the war, including the famous heroes and heroines such as the Black Prince, the Dauphin, Falstaff, and of course, Joan of Arc herself, in addition to some supernatural creatures that have emerged from the shadows. Each game is a unique scenario with its own map assembled from the gaming tiles and a specified set of heroes and followers to achieve the scenario's objectives. Each scenario has its own victory conditions, often different for each side, but the game also includes a battle mode to fight out conflicts between armies of your choosing. And the winner for Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Wargame category for the 2019 Charles S. Roberts Awards is Dune! Congratulations!
Hi, I'm Peter Olakville. Here's a recap of our 1979 Dune project. Avalon Hill calls, asking us if we can design Dune ASAP. There are some tricky Dune IP issues to navigate, culminating with a collect call from Frank Herbert himself. The impact of a Dune blockbuster movie looms over the game. Alas, the movie bombs, and our Dune game goes out of print, despite its many game design. 40 years pass by, 4 decades. Okay. Here's a recap of our 2019 Dune project. Air Force 9 calls, asking us to redesign Dune. Line schedule is ASAP. There are tricky IP issues to navigate involving La La La. The impact of a Dune blockbuster movie is imminent. Hi, I'm Peter Lockville, and this is starting to feel like Groundhog Day with Shia LaBeouf.
Hi, my name is Jack Kittredge. I came up with the simultaneous val-based resolution system for a game that we never published called Tribute, which was about ancient Rome. But we found that they made perfect battle wheels for Dune, so that's how we used that idea.
Hi, I'm Bill Eberle. I was 33 when Jack, Peter, and I created the Dune board game. Now we're in our 70s and proud to receive this historic Charles S. Roberts Award. Thank you. Special thank you to our fans who kept Dune alive when it was no longer being published. Thanks also to Gale Force 9 and Battlefront Miniatures. It's great to have Dune back in the marketplace again.
Gentle people, not only is our next presenter totally immersed in cooperative and solo games, but he also has a podcast called Board Game Buffet. Please, do you like it?
The nominees for the Charles S. Roberts Award for Best Solitaire or Cooperative Board Game are Fields of Fire 2, designer Ben Hall, publisher GMT Games. Jeff Davis, The Confederacy at War, designer Ben Madison, publisher White Dog Games. Peloponnesian War, designer Mark Herman, publisher GMT Games. U-Boat, the board game, designers Bartosz Pluta and Artur Salvarovsky, publisher Phalanx. And finally, Zeppelin Raider, Imperial German Naval Airships, designer Gregory M. Smith, publisher Compass Games. And the winner of the Charles S. Roberts Award for Best Solitaire Cooperative Board Game is U-Boat, the board game, designers Bartosz Pluta, Artur Salvarovsky, publisher Phalanx Games. Congratulations to all the nominees and the winner.
Hello, this is Artur Salvarovsky from Iron Wolf Studio again. In this video, I would like to express our thanks for the Best Solitaire or Cooperative Board Wargame Award. So, as you may imagine, U-Boat was intended as a co-op from the very start, and as it is with most cooperative board games, the alpha player problem will inevitably emerge when one player wants to do it all and actually ruins the experience for everybody else. So we wanted to tackle both things at the same time, because if we had a game with a captain who wouldn't be in command, that wouldn't actually work for me, and I guess it wouldn't work for many players. Right? Being the captain and not being able to command. So we wanted to have a chain of command in the game that would allow the captain to stay in command, but at the same time allow the other players to have their own choices and ways of doing things on the tactical and operational level. And the way the roles interact was designed to foster the exchange of information, to actually make players exchange information all the time. And also working under pressure, because in a real-time game, when challenges amass and it becomes necessary to deal with problems quickly, but you have to deal with them together. Each single player cannot solve the problems alone. I guess this really made U-Boat what it is. And actually, Das Boot was one of the main inspirations, well, no wonder. And the way the characters in the movie interact, it also helped us to establish this sort of interplay between the characters and make gameplay appeal to people who are who like co-ops and military games as well, with a strong theme. So you can play the game as solitaire, and although there is a lot happening, then again, a lot of players do enjoy this setup. And I personally think that on the one hand, the game loses some of its appeal that comes from the communication with other players. But on the other hand, you're in full control, and I guess that some players will prefer it this way. And we have heard from a lot of people who enjoy the game in this setup. Although, yes, I have to agree, there is a lot to wrap your head around. All in all, I would like to thank everybody for their votes, and I am glad that the way we approach the co-op aspect of the game has proved to be the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for your votes. We take the award as a recognition for our efforts to publish highest quality wargames, many of them of less popular subject than submarine warfare. We wouldn't be here if not the friendship and help of many individuals. Kevin Zucker, Uli Blenneman, Martin Wallace, Charles Vasey, Adam Starkweather, Connie Curtis, Ed Beach, and Jason Matthews. And our partners, Ada Synchron, Maskioka, Pegasus, and all across the world. There's also my private, very sincere thanks to my friend and mentor, Mark Simonich. Thank you, Mark. And thank you, everyone. Hopefully, see you next year.
Fritz Bronner. You know what I'm saying? The guy's almost as talented as I am. Oh, man. The guy, he's a film producer. He's an actor. He's a video game mogul. He's good looking too, I think. And you know, I can never get used to drinking with these helmets on. Ladies and gentlemen, Fritz Bronner.
Thank you for the kind introduction. And it is an absolute privilege and honor to be presenting these awards. And this is going to be covering the Technical Achievement Awards. And I've had the honor of playing many strategy war games through my life. And it goes back all the way to games like Midway and Africa Corps. And it's just the evolution of gaming and the mechanics and the materials and the printing quality with the technology that's been developed along the ages has improved so much. So I have the privilege of presenting the Technical Achievement Awards, and the first award I'll be doing shortly. The first award will be Best Board War Game Playing Components. And this has been an amazing evolution as far as gaming goes, and all of these nominees have bright, brilliant, beautiful printing as far as relief against the backdrop, color coordination, and just beautiful pieces and components. The first nominee is Crossing the Line, Aachen, 1944. Gorgeous, crisp colors on that as far as the components go. The next nominee is Nevetsky, Teutons, and Russ in Collision, 1240 to 1242. Beautiful relief as far as the components and the map pieces and the illustrations as far as that, and the easy to read as far as the lettering and everything on the components. The next nominee, U-Boat, the board game. Gorgeous components as well. It has a large submarine, small little resin pieces as far as showing the various parts of the crew and everything. Fantastic coloring and everything else. The next nominee, Wings of the Motherland. Another gorgeous looking game with components that stand out. World at War 85, Storming the Gap. Nice, crisp lettering and to read the components as far as that goes against a very beautiful map relief as well. May I have the envelope, please? The winner of the best board game playing components goes to U-Boat, the board game. Bartosz Plutonka, Bartosz Pluta, Artur Sawowski, and Felix Game 5. Congratulations, best board game components.
Hello, this is Artur Sawowski again, broadcasting from Iron Wolf Studio HQ. Wow, I guess that people really like the way the components for U-Boats turned out, because we actually won 4 different awards, and which are best map graphics, best playing components, best wargame rules, and the best box cover art. Well, that is actually a lot, so I will try to address each of those one by one. So as regards best map graphics, I was actually quite surprised because we didn't do much with the source material that we had, because the map in our games, actually the Marine Quadrat, the grid system that the Kriegsmarine used during the Second World War. So we didn't actually do much about how it works, but I can understand that it appeals to wargamers because it looks like the real thing. So yeah, I guess I'm not sure if we deserve it, but it does the job. Yeah. Okay, then we've got the best playing components as well. Well, this entails a few different things that I would like to talk about. First, the 3D submarine, which is obviously the centerpiece as far as the haptic components go. So the funny thing about the 3D submarine is that at the beginning of the project, we wanted to have it. So it was day one almost thing to have 3D components and the sub as a 3D object. But as you may imagine, it was not an easy thing to do. And as we started researching it, we came to this conclusion quite early that we actually wouldn't be doing it. So at some point we had a traditional flat board, and it was the publisher, it was Phalanx actually, who pushed for the 3D sub, and yeah, they actually did a lot about it, and in the end, I guess, while it isn't perfect, some people have found some imperfections, and well, as you might imagine, yeah, cutting cardboard to this sort of level of precision is a difficult thing, even with today's technology. Well, all things considered, I guess in the end it does the job. It enhances the immersion, and I think it was a good idea after all. Then we have the figures, guns, and other 3D components. So I believe, while they are not the standard of some miniature battle games, then again, well, the scale is actually quite small. It's 1 to 72, if I remember right. But well, it was a difficulty for them on the material aspect of things, because the sculpts were in fact very detailed, and it was kind of difficult to cast them using the kind of material that would both hold so that they wouldn't break too easily. But well, we had to reach a compromise of some kind. But I guess all in all, we're quite happy with how they all turned out. Then I'd like to say just a few words about my favorite component of all, which is obviously the attack disc. So this is again one of the things that nobody liked at the very beginning. So when we decided to have the navigator in the game, well, I actually wanted this role to have some navigation to do, not just call this player the navigator and then I don't know, have them do all sorts of stuff other than navigation. So to me, it wouldn't make sense. So being a sailor myself, I know a thing or two about navigation. I'm not an expert, but I did my homework, and it appeared very quickly that this could be a very interesting part of the game. So I pushed for it. There were very many iterations of this system, but actually the closer I got to the original idea of this torpedo attack disc, the better it turned out. So in the end, I had to convince. Well, Bartosz actually agreed with me quite early. He saw the potential and he agreed that it's not actually something terribly difficult. In the end, there are so many people who say it's the best part of the game. So I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out. Then we've got the Board Game Rules Award. So best board game rules. This is actually kind of funny, again, because, well, I wrote the rules. It was my first rule book ever. Well, I actually worked on some board game rules before that, but this is my first published game, and I guess I'm very happy and proud that it turned out the way it did. What can I say? It was a difficult thing to write rules for a game that is quite hard to compare. That does not have a direct equivalent. So there weren't actually so many places to draw from. But all in all, I think that the rules are decent. And although there have been some problems on the way, but notwithstanding, I guess they hold their own and they make sense, at least to some degree. So I guess thank you very much for the award. Then we got the best box cover art. And this is actually, again, something that our publisher got hold of. It was actually Michał Ozon from Phalanx who found it, I think. And yeah, I believe it conveys the theme very well. It is dark, somber, not too colorful. I really like the way it's the mood. At some point, we were worried that it would be too dark and nobody would notice it in a board game store. But I guess this kind of game is not an impulse buy, and it is more for hardcore fans of the thing. So actually, not being colorful and eye-catching was not such a problem after all. And we are very happy that most people liked it in the end. So again, I would like to express our thanks for the award, and we're really happy that so many people liked our game and voted for it. Thank you.
Our next category, Best War Game Map Graphics. It's amazing how the crisp look of all these nominees in this category, as far as their maps go, are just fantastic. The nominees are Death Valley, Battles for the Shenandoah. Beautiful relief. Overlook view like a plane flying over, seeing the trees, the forest, and the valley as far as the counters to stand out. The next nominee, Nevesky, Teutons and Russ in Collision 1240 to 1242. Another beautiful rendering as a map goes with interesting color palettes and such. The next nominee, Stalingrad 42. beautiful pop-out colors. The Black Sea and the water, as far as the river streams, really pop out crisp, so you know where the critical crossings are. The next nominee, The Last 100 Yards by GMT Games. Another beautiful printed, colors popping out to read. And the last nominee, U-Boat, the board game. The envelope, please. The winner of the best war game map graphics goes to U-Boat, the board game. Bartosz Pluta, Artur Sarowski, Phalanx Games 5. Congratulations. Welcome back. Our next category, Best Board Game War Game Rules. This is where we have complex battles and we need to be able to simplify and bring across how to play the game. And this is a fantastic awards category to have. The clarity to understand how to play these games. And all of them have fantastic rules. The nominees are the Peloponnesian Wars, Stalingrad 42, U-Boat, the board game, Undaunted Normandy, Wings over the Motherland. And the envelope. And the award goes to U-Boat, the board game. Bartosz Pluta, Artur Sarowski, Phalanx Game 5. Congratulations again. Our next category, Best Computer Assist Module. And this is an exciting period in gaming, and especially war gaming, because we have all this technology from 3D printing to apps, and as far as having feed-in with your phone and having data crunching and everything else. So we have only one nominee in this category for this year, and the nominee is U-Boat, the board game. Thank you. Anticipation here. The winner is U-Boat, the board game. Congratulations. Our last category, Best Original Box Cover Art. Now this is a multi-fold strategy as far as what a box cover art is. First of all, it has to be appealing. But in this world of war gaming, it has to be accurate as well. And all of these present beautiful, dramatic images as far as the period and as far as the action and the essence of what these games are about. The nominees are Vesky Teutons and Rus in Collision, 1240 to 1242. The Peloponnesian Wars, Stalingrad 42. U-Boat, the board game. And the last nominee, Wings of the Motherland. And the envelope, please. And the award goes to U-Boat, the board game. Bartosz Pluta, Artur Sarowski, Phalanx Game 5. Congratulations. Thank you very much, and it's been a privilege to present these awards.
I got introduced to this next presenter through the fantastic interviews of Harold Buchanan. He has a podcast which is called Harold on Games. I strongly suggest you check it out. Some really good insights in there. Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor Bender.
As game players, we enjoy having additional value added to the games that we enjoy so much. This is often frequently done through conversation with friends about theoretical options in a game, or reading on Board Game Geek articles that have been posted there, or more frequently looking into magazines like C3I or Special Ops, which publish variants or variant counters or scenarios that we can use to add additional value to our games. Perhaps the best way to do this, though, is by looking at expansions that have been published by the original manufacturer. And so that is what leads us up to our Charles S. Roberts Award category today. My name is Trevor Bender, and I've been asked to introduce this category, which is the best expansion or supplement for an existing board war game. Some of you may know me by my Twitter handle, which is GameChanger2. We've got quite a number of variants and articles and scenarios that I've prepared and published in C3I Magazine and other locations to do just that, give additional value to existing games. Perhaps the one you may have heard the most is my 2 expansions to GMT's Labyrinth series, Labyrinth Awakening and Labyrinth Forever War. All right, we have 5 particular nominations in this category of best expansion or supplement for an existing board war game. The first of these is Great War Commander British Expeditionary Force. This comes from Hexasims Publications. Many of you will remember the Combat Commander series published by GMT many years ago, which is quite famous as the World War II tactical war game. Great War Commander does the same thing, but for the World War I fronts. Next up after that is a GMT product, Next War Supplement Number 2, Insurgency. This allows for an expansion of the insurgency topic to existing popular titles such as Next War Korea, Next War Taiwan, Next War India, etc. Fantastic series. Now we have another publication from Multi-Man Publications, Red Factories. This is a reprint and also an expansion of that reprint of the Red Barricades, the very first Advanced Squad Leader historical module that came out in 1995. Charlie Cooper did a fantastic job on that. It's been redone and expanded with new scenarios. Another GMT product follows after that, Time of Crisis, Age of Iron and Rust. Time of Crisis is the game that's on the Roman Empire era as players compete for influence across the Mediterranean basin. Finally, we have an era expansion to Wing Leader, Eagles 1943 to 1945. This adds an aircraft in the second half of World War II. Now it's time to announce the winner for our category series of Best Expansion or Supplement. Drum roll, please. The winner is Time of Crisis, Age of Iron and Rust by GMT. Congratulations to designers Ray Farrell and Brad Johnson. Well done on this expansion. I hope that this serves as an opportunity to everyone, both designers and players of games, to think about an expansion you might consider for a game that you like a lot. Anybody can do these expansions. It doesn't have to be the original design team. Just come up with a great idea, perhaps write an article for a magazine or post an idea on Board Game Geek or other social media and see where it goes from there. Get some play testers together, put something together. Who knows, maybe you could be nominated next.
Ray and I are extremely flattered that Time of Crisis, The Age of Iron and Rust has been selected to receive the Charles S. Roberts Award for Best Expansion for an existing board war game in 2019. We'd like to sincerely thank the CSR committee and the voters for this very generous recognition. Just to be included among the other fantastic nominees is a great honor. We'd like to thank GMT Games and Andy Lewis in particular for believing in and publishing Time of Crisis. Thank you to Roger McGowan, Mark Simonich, Kurt Miller, and Charles Kibler for art and graphics. Many thanks to producers Tony Curtis, Roger McGowan, Andy Lewis, Gene Billingsley, and Mark Simonich. A shout out to our friends and playtesters at the Gamers Armory in North Carolina and the Ludophilia Group in Illinois, among others. And we must thank Ray's wife Lou and my wife Pam for loving support of our hobby. Ray and I will both definitely continue with our efforts in game design, thanks in large part to all of these people I've mentioned. We have hopes that a second expansion for Time of Crisis could be possible in the future. Thank you again.
What's no enemies here?
It's a box and a lid.
On and on. Really? These sons of bitch? But I think that's a great thing to be nuts.
And drink scotch.
Are you wearing that stupid beef in Michigan t-shirt? All right, well, there we go. You're not enough.
Hey guys, it's Herman Lutman.
You never really know what it's going to be. You know why? Because I don't. And now Timto presents us with a modern, hypothetical, post-World War II category. Take it away, Tim.
The Cold War and hypothetical era category spans the period after World War II to the near future. It covers events that have happened and those that might have been. This year's nominees are Blue Water Navy, designed by Stuart Tong and published by Compass Games. It is an air-navy submarine game of World War III in the 1980s. The map spans from Cuba and Florida in the west through the Mediterranean Sea to the Kola Peninsula in the east. Units are air squadrons, ship groups, and submarines. 3 time periods covered by the game are 1983, 1985, and 1989. Hearts and Minds, Vietnam, 1965 to 1975, by John Ponisk and Compass Games. This is the 3rd edition of this card-driven, quick-playing area movement game. It contains 80 cards, tokens to represent opposing forces. Veteran troops are a necessity in this game, and untried troops are a liability. This game shows John's experience in designing counterinsurgency simulations. The next nominee is Less Than 60 Miles, which covers the famous Fulda Gap in West Germany. It is an operational simulation with units at the regiment and battalion level. It focuses on the 3 C's: command, communications, and control. Designed by Fabrizio Vianello and Marco Cimino, and published by Thin Red Line Games. This is the first in a series of the C3 series of games, which will cover the entire NATO Warsaw Pact conflict in Central Europe. Set in 1985, it contains 2 campaign games and 3 smaller scenarios. Red Storm, Air War over Central Germany, 1987. Designed by Douglas Bush and published by GMT Games. This is the 2nd sequel to the Charles S. Roberts award-winning game Downtown by Lee Whitcomb Wood. It utilizes the Downtown game system to simulate a hypothetical air war in May-June of 1987 over the central portion of the NATO Warsaw Pact front in Central Germany. Like other games in the series, air units in Red Storm are flights of 1 to 4 aircraft, each tasked with different roles such as bombing, combat air patrol, close escort, or jamming support. Red Storm features more than 50 types of aircraft, including both older 3rd-generation workhorses like F-4 Phantom II and MiG-23 Flogger, as well as advanced 4th-generation fighters, including the F-15 Eagle and the Soviet MiG-29 Fulcrum. World at War, Storming the Gap, is a platoon-level chit-pull interactive game system that covers scenarios at the tactical level for World War III, fought in 1985. Rules cover variable term links, random formation activation, point-blank and long-range weapons fire, line of sight, and many more things. It is a modern successor to the Avalon Hill classics of Panzerleader and Panzer Blitz and Arab-Israeli wars. And the winner of this year's 2019 Cold War and Hypothetical Era board war game is Storming the Gap, World at War 85.
I'd like to thank Tim Toe and his team for reinvigorating the Charles S. Roberts Awards. Every designer, artist, and publisher appreciates recognition among their peers. Truly a wonderful thing to have them back. Thank you all so much for the honor and privilege of this award. I'm overwhelmed and grateful and, well, overwhelmed and grateful. Next, I want to thank all 1,400 plus of you who backed the Kickstarter of Storming the Gap and all those gamers who were kind enough to nominate Storming the Gap for this award. My greatest thrill is that you all appear to be having as much fun playing it as I and my team did, which was our goal. I want to thank the inestimable David Heath, head of Lock and Load Publishing, who initiated the World at War 85 series and gave me the wonderful opportunity to bring Storming the Gap to life. Many thanks to his team, including Blackwell Hurd, Mark Von Marshall, Darren White, Patrick White, Nate Rogers, Maurice Fitzgerald, Devin Heinley, Trent Garner, Hans Cording, Brad Smith, Noah Stoltz, Shane Heath, and Al Davis. A huge thank you to lead designers of some other Lock and Load projects, Ralph Ferrari, Sean Drollinger, and Steve Overton, for patiently lending me their ears and offering just good advice during this process. On my design and development team side, a huge thank you to my lead playtester, co-developer, Monster Map Scenario Master, and sounding board Jeff Schulte. He's the heart of the cards, the formation cards in this case. Thank you as always, Jeff. I'd also like to thank my development leads, Matt Lose and Phil Bolger, and our incredible development team, Mark Archambault, Nuno Castillo, Tony Costa, Thomas O'Neill, Dwayne Parsons, Felix de Rouget, Nicholas Michon, Dean Morrissey, Ian Tracton, Warren Tutwiler, Arrigo Villacoña, Mike Wheel, Phil Wolreb, and Paul Summers Young.
And I'm going to talk about the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame for board game designers is the Clausewitz, the most prestigious of the Charles S. Roberts Awards. It's given annually to one person for continued contributions to the field of board wargaming. I had the honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame many years ago, and I'm still very proud of it. It meant a lot to me. So thank you all again for that. This year's honoree is known to us all. In fact, if I had asked any one of you, you probably would have assumed that he had already been in the Hall of Fame for years. But somehow, no. And as of now, that is rectified. Our honoree is a skilled and prolific game designer, but he is so much more. He's also a master of the layout and graphic skills that make our complex games playable. He was a founder of one of the classic companies at the dawn of our hobby, and he spent many years serving you as an officer of GAMA, the Game Manufacturers Association. By every measure, he deserves our thanks and he deserves this honor. Our winner this year is Rich Banner. And here's where, in a live session, I'd stop for long applause. Accepting for Rich is his friend and fellow Hall of Fame member, Mark Miller.
I'm honored to talk to you tonight about my friend Rich Banner, because I can say some things that will be hard for him to say about himself. This award is for those who have left their mark on our hobby of military games, war games. He designed the holy grail of war games, a division-level game of the Russian front of World War II. It was his vision that then created the Europa series, all of the campaigns of European World War II, North Africa, France, England, in compatible formats, actually playable together. If that were his only accomplishment, it would be more than enough. But he did so much more. He created System 7 Napoleonics, innovative printed counters for truly awesome Napoleonics battles. He was an award-winning art director. He created the iconic little black book look for Traveler. He helped organize the industry's Game Manufacturers Association, and he was its first treasurer. From there, he advanced to its presidency, where he served admirably during its formative years. Any one of his accomplishments would be enough to say he left his mark on our hobby. But he did it time and again. Rich is one of the game designers in the legendary Game Designers Workshop, and truly deserves to be recognized with this award.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Herman. I'm sitting here in the outside near my house, and it is my distinct honor to be the presenter for the James F. Dunnigan Award for Elegance and Playability. I'm familiar with this award. I won it back in 1998 for the People. It was a great honor then, and it's going to be a great honor for me to pass this along. And what I would say about the award is, it both, in some ways, it recognizes like the game, a particular game, but usually it's meant to recognize a game system. It's more because you could win the Game of the Year in a category, but when you win the Dunnigan Award, you're really winning it for a system shows elegance, that it really is provocative, it's thematic, and all of the above. And without further ado, a gentleman who I know quite well, I have collaborated with him for many years, and the winner this year of the James F. Dunnigan Award is my good friend Volko Loki. So congratulations, Volko, for a well-deserved award. You won it for Nevsky. And I've actually played it with Volko, and it's a fabulous system, and it's well deserving of this award. So again, congratulations to Volko and to his entire team who helped him put this one onto the market. So congratulations and adieu.
This is Volko Runka. I'm designer of Nevsky, Teutons and Roofs in Collision 1240 to 1242. And I want to say I was so happy to see the Charles S. Robert Awards kick in again, and that there would be a contest running this year. I had missed following the contest in past years, and so that was for me a wonderful affirmation of the continued dedication to our hobby. And now that I am honored to receive the James Dunnigan Design Elegance Award, I'm only that much more excited to see the Charlies back in action. This award for design elegance, spurred by my work on Nevsky, affirms some other truths for me about our hobby. One is that we have many, many nearly limitless stories left to tell from history involving military affairs and many other aspects of human affairs, interwoven politics, economics, and so forth, that we can emphasize logistics or command relationships or combined arms in any number of combinations. And if it is executed in a plausible model in an engaging game, if it has what we might think of as elegance and design, and delivering all that in a package that is more enjoyable than burdensome, then board war gamers will engage in it, will explore it, and will embrace it. And that truth, as embodied in, I think, this award for Nevsky, is a very happy portent for the future of our hobby. We have many, many new adventures to explore. I designed Nevsky originally principally for myself, and I thought it might appeal to those with special interest in something obscure like medieval warfare at the operational level in some corner of the medieval world. And the fact that not only wargamers and critics, but also board gamers generally have chosen to try it out and play it and are enjoying it much more than I could have hoped, also gives me great optimism that the boundaries of our interest in traveling through military history on the tabletop, we haven't yet reached those boundaries among players. Thank you so much for the support for Nevsky. Thank you so much, volunteers running the Charles S. Roberts Awards, for revivifying the Charlies. Thank you all for your support and for this award. It's a great and exciting honor for me.
Bukowski's always a good read, huh? Well, I have the last say here, and we waited, obviously, for the big prize, which is War Board Game of the Year. Before that, I'd like to say that I'm really, really honored with this opportunity to showcase the games and produce the awards, that is. I'd like to thank Tim Toll and Roger B. McGowan for being trusting enough to let me handle a project like this. So without further ado, let's get right with it. So the nominees, and I should say, the first nominee for Best War Game of the Year is Nevsky. Russ, Teutons, and Russ in Collision, 1240 to 1242. This is a game designed by Volko Runke. The artists are Roger B. McGowan Checho Nieto, I'm sorry, and Mark Sinich. And it's published by GNP. I would just like to make a suggestion here, Volko. You know, Teutons and Russ. I mean, yeah, you could say it's obscure. I guess a little less obscure now because we know the game. But I mean, you know, if you want to sell more games like Teutons and Russ, it doesn't flow off the tongue too easily. You should have called it Toots and Russ, like Puss in Boots. But anyways, our next nominee is Stalingrad 42. This is a game designed, and the artist is Mark Simonich. Designed by Mark Simonich, he is also the artist. Mark, and it's published by GMP, I'm sorry. Mark, can I give you a piece of advice here? Stalingrad 42. 42 when? 1642? 1342? You know, Volko was even more precise, 1240 to 1242. I understand, but Stalingrad 42? You know, you could sell more games by, you know, being a bit more precise. But anyways, I digress. Our next nominee is U-Boat, the board game, designed by Bartosz Pluta and Arthur Salvarowski. The artist is Chris Clore, and it's published by Phalanx Games. I can't really give you guys much advice here. You've been nominated in every single category, yet you must be doing something right. The next one is very, very dear to me. It's Undaunted Normandy. The designers are David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin, and published by Osprey Games. You know, I want to get my copy here, but oh yeah, Dave, my copy. I never got it. Anyways, and our last nominee is Winds of the Motherland, designed by J.D. Webster. The artist is Ian Wedge, and published by Clash of Arms Games. Now, J.D. Webster, I'm just curious. Do people come and ask you, what does this word mean and what does that word mean? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Okay, and the award goes to U-Boot, the board game. A game designed by, and I just lost the page, by Bartosz Pluta and Arthur Salvarowski. The artist is Chris Clore, published by Phalanx Games. Congratulations for winning the best board game, war board game of the year.
Hello, this is Bartosz Pluta
and Artur Salvarowski
from Ironwood Studio. First of all, we would like to thank the voters for awarding the prize to our game in so many different categories. We would also like to thank everybody who helped this game come to completion. Without you, we would have never been able to succeed.
When we started this project, we agreed that we had to come up with something new and exciting, something that would really set our game apart from all the others, something out of the ordinary that would let the players feel as if they were not just playing a game, but actually felt as if they were living and fighting on the German U-boat.
After many considerations, we chose to make an app-driven game which would combine the traditional cardboard approach with electronic submarine simulation. It was a very ambitious undertaking, and we often found that we had to come up with never-before-seen solutions, which on the one hand is exciting, but on the other hand doesn't make things any easier.
However, given the response of the community and the critics, it seems that we managed to deliver a game that we can be proud of. We would like to thank the voters one more time, and we hope that Ironwood Studio will deliver many more worthwhile games in the future.
I've only learned 2 days ago, and here I am, sitting here in front of 2 cameras and a PC that I have a bunch of notes, and you hopefully don't see. Best war game of the year. Ali has always been a recommendation for me when I was looking for games, and when I've heard U-Boat got one, I was very glad. There are many war games and great war games published every year, so U-Boat getting a one, that's something. When Charles S. Roberts designed a hex grid, he became a pioneer of modern war game and in general board game industry. He set an example to dream big and to trust intuition. The designer vision is taking us on an unforgettable journey full of quick decisions. There is innovation in the presentation and the delivery. and above all, in players' experience. That thanks to a 3D submarine with a great table presence and a supportive app. But in fact, U-Boat is just a few small uncrowded rooms deep underwater. The 3D model and the app help to create the immersion, to help to understand what was the reality of living on a submarine during the World War II. As much immersion as the board game can offer. This is the first real-time underwater war thriller, or rather quite claustrophobic role-playing game about personal war experience. I hope you all will have great fun playing U-Boat and all other games from Phalanx. Thank you.
Wow, what a great show. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Thank you for watching. We'll give a special thanks to all of our presenters and recipients who took time out of their day to participate in this show. We'll also thank the voters, because you are the ones who decided these awards. The top vote getters for each category is the winner, and the next 4 are the considered nominees. So these awards are really chosen by the people. They're not chosen by any special committee, but by you, the voters. Thank you. And lastly, if you have any questions about the Charles S. Roberts Awards or wish to contact us, you can email us at charlessrobertsawards@gmail.com. And finally, I'd like to give a special thanks and shout out to Dan Pancaldi of the No Enemies Here podcast. Dan produced and directed the 2020 Charles S. Roberts Awards. Thank you, Dan. And thank you all for watching. Hope to see you again next year.
Dan, are you still wearing that beep t-shirt?
Thanks for watching. Thank you, Tim Towell, Roger B. McGowan, and above all, thank you